Welcome to Earth to the Other Side. My name is John, your host, and tonight I'm speaking with Megan Wendell, who had a near death experience back in 2020, October 12th to be exact. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So, this is your first time talking about this.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Very exciting. So, I'm going to just hand the floor over to you, and you can tell us all about it and tell us all the details you want.
Okay. So on October 12th, 2020, I was feeling really ill all day, really sore. I thought maybe I pulled a muscle at work and that's why I was getting sick. But I went to the ER, got dropped off by my husband and my kids. And since it was COVID, they weren't allowed to come in anyway, the kids especially. And I I remember waiting in the ER for about 2 hours in pain and once they finally got me back, they did blood work, MRI, and as soon as the MRI was done, they were shipping me up to the operating room for emergency surgery because I had flesh-eating bacteria and was going into septic shock. So they were doing the surgery and I woke up from that surgery in the operating room still. I wasn't on the table. I was on the hospital bed and they were wheeling me out of the room. I remember seeing the door, being in between the door and the operating table. And that's when I woke up. Well, I thought I woke up. And I looked down and I could see the AED paddles to the right of me. And and then I saw the nurse, trying getting it all prepared to use on me. And then I realized the angle I was seeing couldn't have been from me actually laying there. It was above me. I was above me. And then this big bright light, like I was in this big bright, amazing, warm light that was just the most peaceful feeling I've ever felt in my life. Like it made me feel amazing. I was didn't really want to go out of it because it was just absolute peace. And from there, I was wheeled to the ICU. So they must have brought me back, but I was so weak still. I don't feel like I actually necessarily came back to my body at that point. Um, I didn't really fully come back to my body until I was in the ICU room and the nurse was yelling at me. She's like, Megan, you have to breathe. And she just said it so loud and so forcefully that I remember going, like, I came back into my body at that point, and I just was like, wow. I had to tell myself, keep breathing, keep breathing. And then I sat in the well, I was there for a while. I had to relearn how to breathe. I was in the hospital for 7 days. And then after that, finally got to go home, which was wonderful, amazing. And I just had to, I didn't say anything to the medical doctors about that happening. It was like, it took me a while for it to register that that had happened. And since then, it's been, well, 3.5 years now. I would say for the past 6 months, I'm finally healthy. It took a long time. I was really overweight before that event happened, and I've lost like 90 pounds. I've just become healthier, more one with nature. I love being outside now. more spiritual, but just that I can't help but think that that event happening has made me have more spiritual connections with others too, like everything in life, really.
Hmm.
Like I just pass people walking past and it just feels like there's a connection to people now that there wasn't before. And I'm more at peace, like I don't get all worked up and angry in the mornings with my kids like I used to. I'm very chill now. I don't let things get to me. And I would say that my out of body experience really makes me think now that I'm just borrowing this body that I'm in right now. You know, like I'm just like, really, this is what I have. Like I can, I don't know, it's a different feeling now. Um, but just knowing that peace that once I do die, it'll be okay. It'll be, it'll be fine. I know it. It's just, it is an amazing feeling.
That's such a
Um,
wonderful way of putting
Another
it.
story, my niece, who is 6, she had passed away from septic shock, the same thing that I almost died from. She had passed away from that a year and a half before my emergency surgery. And my brother, her dad, was in the hospital when he got the news. And so he's, emotional. And he heard her voice say, "It's okay, Daddy." And that was, and I know like, it is okay. Like it is and it isn't for that, but it is okay when you pass over.
Hmm.
It's a very comforting feeling.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you for sharing that, Megan. And
yeah, you're welcome.
curious, like, where do you think you were in between the bright light and that feeling of warmth and that you were experiencing and going back into your body? Because you said you still didn't think that you were quite back in your body yet. Do you know, did you have a sense of being somewhere?
It felt like I was above my body the whole time. Like it was just, yeah, it's kind of a faded picture. Um, because because I just remember going into that wonderful bright light amazingness. And then they must have used those AED paddles and brought me back. But I was still just, I think I was so weak that I was going in and out. And honestly, it was like a void of nothingness for that point because I really hadn't died and I wasn't really breathing enough to be living back in my body. So that was the toughest part, honestly. Being flatlining and being completely dead was the better feeling for sure. It was
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
amazing.
And did you have anything that you were able to validate with anyone? I guess you didn't really talk to the doctors or anything afterwards, right?
I didn't know. I wish I would have, but it took me so long to acknowledge what had happened to me.
Yeah, it's easy to
I
ask the
really,
question, but when you're there at that in that moment, like I get it, like there's so much going on. It's not like you're thinking, oh, I need to I need to get validation from these doctors. You have so many other things going on, and
uh-huh.
probably not
Yeah.
even half conscious, anyways.
Oh, yeah. And I had to go for surgery the next day back for another one.
Yeah.
And then just the excruciating pain I was in,
Mm,
for that week
right.
was all I could really think about, and I just wanted to sleep I just remember sleeping for almost nonstop for 7 days until I got out of there.
Do you remember the first conversation you had with somebody about what you experienced? Like
Um,
talking?
it was with my husband,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he was unsure, you know, what to think about it. Like, I know since I've told him about it, he's watched videos on near death experiences of other people. And I know it's obvious that I've changed a lot as a person to him and to me. Um, but yeah, he's hard to judge, like, as far as what he thinks, because I know people are skeptics, and all I know is I know it. It felt amazing. It changed me. I've seen other I've known other people who have had the similar flatline near death experience, and they're just different people afterwards. They were kind of angry, unhappy people to happy and nice.
Yeah,
It's
this is it's very common. Yeah.
I wish that everybody could experience that bright light, and then come back because it just changes you.
The changes that you went through and with your experience, it takes some people years and years of meditation to get you know, to the point in where they don't react necessarily the same as they used to, because it
Yeah.
changes your life and I'm sure it adds it could potentially add a lot of days, weeks, years to your life, if
Mhm.
you're not so hard on your heart all the time, freaking out in traffic or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
before the surgery I was heavier, but I was on 9 different medications,
Wow. Mm.
and I don't take any anymore.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So I was able to get off all of my blood pressure medications, my antidepressants,
Amazing.
and I never thought that would happen. It's
Well, that's
amazing.
wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I love the path I'm on now, and I'm just focusing on being positive, and like I started after in 2021 I started substitute teaching, and that was something I had always wanted to do before, but never I was just too nervous to do it.
Mhm.
And that near death experience really got me through a lot, and is pushing me to be a better person and help others.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, how else do you think this experience changed your life? Have you had any sort of heightened intuition or anything like that, do you find, or has that not come yet?
I think so. I think I'm getting there, and I think it's getting more and more because and I just have to I feel like it's a puzzle I have to try to solve. I'm trying to I feel these connections, and I feel like I know who people are, like, just by walking past them.
Like it's a
It
deeper connection, right?
it is a deeper connection. It's pretty amazing.
So, if you have
Mhm.
anything in there that you want to just as a last message to those who fear death.
Given my experience, and then also from when my niece passed, just a 6-year-old girl communicating with her dad, telling him that, "Yeah, it's okay, daddy." Like, that's exactly how I feel. It is okay. It's okay to, you shouldn't have to worry about your loved ones because they're in a wonderful place. And if you have a fear of death, you need to try to stop because it's so peaceful. It's absolutely amazing, and it's something to look forward to.
It's like returning home.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your experience for the first time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage. I really appreciate it. I'm very grateful.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad I
Absolutely.
could do this.
Anytime.